Welcome to another YC Wisdom podcast. We have Kevin Wu with us. He's a founder and CEO at Leaping AI, part of YC Winter 25 batch. Leaping is basically voice AI agents that self-improve. So I had a couple of these YC companies on my podcast. I'm eager to learn more about Kev, his background, and how he's doing things differently. I see he here has past experience. You've been an investment analyst, worked at Amazon as well. So, Kev, can you introduce yourself? Tell us a bit more about what you're up to nowadays.
Yeah, my name is Kevin. I'm the CEO of Leaping AI. Leaping AI makes self-improving voice AI agents for businesses. We currently do around 100,000 calls per day on our platform, whilst automating up to 70% of repetitive support calls on the phone. Personally, I'm sitting in San Francisco. I grew up in Germany and ran this company in Germany for a year and a half before moving to SF at the beginning of this year.
So, who's your ICP? I see GDPR compliant there, and you're from Germany. Do you attack the European market a lot nowadays, or it's pretty international?
So we primarily serve the European and American markets. Our ICPs are, companies with large call centers that have a lot of repetitive phone calls and that want to, use AI to improve first call deflection rates.
Right. And what's their alternative, or what's their current solution, and why is yours better?
Yeah, so the current solution is either doing it with humans or outsourcing it to a human call center, or they might have some basic IVR solutions, such as press 1 for this, press 2 for this, and we're helping them to make these conversations more natural.
What's your stack? What has it? How have you built the solution? Is it ChatGPT's voice? Do you have your own model? Like what's under the hood?
Yeah, so we're an orchestration layer. So we collaborate with large language model providers like ChatGPT.
What about Sesame? As of late, have you tested that one? What are your thoughts about that
Yeah, we have
company?
tested it. It's really good. We're kind of evaluating bringing that into our stack as well. Currently, we're using um, the following providers: Cartesia, ElevenLabs, OpenAI itself, and also Azure.
And how many clients do you currently have, and what do you charge them?
We have around 10 to 15 clients, and we charge them like around a 5-figure, 6-figure fee, depending on the size of the client.
And why did you pick that niche specifically, right? You were accepted to YC, you had all kinds of choices as per what product to create. Why did you identify that niche specifically as very
Yeah,
interesting for you?
I mean, I started in 2023, even before doing YC. And so I used to be a consultant at BCG. And towards the end of my time there, I was part of the GenAI task force. And we're looking at different verticals. And one of the things that all the verticals had in common is that using GenAI to automate contact centers and to automate customer support has a big potential across industries. So I had this top-down view. At the same time, I was connected pretty serendipitously with one of our largest customers now who had this exact pain point. So there was a very concrete business opportunity as well.
Right. I'm reading some of your posts on LinkedIn. You screenshot Reddit post of someone that works in call centers. So I'm guessing you must have heard a lot and spoke a lot about the topic of AI and replacing some jobs. You mentioned in that specific post that working in a call center is probably hell, right? Like I started my career making 200 cold calls a day, not even answering some, but like getting 5 to 10 fuck offs every day. Is it a good thing that we would be replacing these jobs ultimately?
So I think that the call center work itself, most of the times, is pretty menial and pretty repetitive. So I actually spent time living in South America, and many people I met there spent time working in a call center uh, to earn money while they were students, and most of them just absolutely hated it. So I think that if we're able to, have this done by AI in a similar quality, it would free a lot of businesses to take those same employees that they have that do call center calls and move them to more productive revenue generating functions.
I agree with that. And yeah, let's talk also about the consumer side. Like you have a problem with your bank, you call your bank, you've been put on hold for like 15 minutes, right? And then you speak to an employee that goes through very robotic type of processes. Some of them are more competent, some others are just not competent, and that's really frustrating as a customer, right? So what's the customer experience like, and how can an AI actually serve the customer better and get them to the results faster?
Yeah, so I think there are three steps in the call, right? So basically, AI can help in all of these three conversation steps and make it more seamless. So the first step is you have to wait until you speak to someone. Then the second part is you tell the AI, or sorry, you tell the company what you're calling in for. And then the third part is actually the person helping you. So right now, the first part is completely eliminated with AI because it can, answer the call straight away. The second part right now is typically handled by an IVR system where there's a lot of music and then you have to listen to some instructions and then press like a button, like press 1, press 2,
Great
right?
experience, right? I called to listen to some amazing music.
Yeah, exactly. And AI can make this part even more natural. And then the third part is, where you actually speak to a human to get your problem resolved. Even then, I'm sure you and your audience have had issues where like this person could not help you and lets you wait in the line for another 5 minutes, right? So actually AI with the full context and the full access to data is able to help in a lot of these use cases. Obviously, there are more difficult parts of the conversation as well. So AI might try to resolve this issue, but if it cannot, it also falls back to to an employee to a human employee that can help out.
Right. Yeah, I think it's just better at pretty much every single step. I think the main bottleneck for you is company adoption itself because the
Yeah.
is already there. It already exists, right? So how do you actually score new customers? Sometimes you're outreaching to these companies and you're like trying to convince an exec that is scared of AI, that is like, oh shit, that's going to replace me ultimately, right? So how do you do your GTM, and how do you adapt your message so that big enterprises can actually invite that in their company and not resist to AI adoption?
Yeah, so I would say regarding attracting customers, we have two channels. One is outbound, one is inbound. We surprisingly get a lot of inbound requests, and so these customers find us on LinkedIn. They find us on podcasts. They know us from YC, and then we have an outbound GTM motion where we strategically reach out to customers that are interesting to us. When we speak to new customers, obviously we try to understand their pain points, what they're optimizing for. And that might be different for different customers. Some customers might want to reduce costs. Some customers might want to actually have 24/7 availability because they're losing revenue. So we try to understand, what they're optimizing for. What I started doing in the beginning, what I'm not doing anymore, like as much now, and it's also going to your point of generating trust, is I try not to set unrealistic expectations, right? So I don't say, hey, with this, you're able to automate your entire human workforce, right, and save massive costs. Because at the end of the day, right now, AI is not there yet to be able to, do 100% of the calls by itself, right? So if it's just a cost reduction play and this company is thinking about reducing 80% of the costs, right? To me, after having been in this business for 2 years, with the current state of technologies, this is not realistic, right? So I try to already from the beginning, align on a goal with the client that I'm confident AI can actually achieve, right? And so later on, when we actually review the results, that hopefully does not lead to any disappointment.
And do you do cold email outreach? Like, what are the titles that you're going after? And yeah, like, what's the biggest pain point that has gotten you into the most doors as of now?
Yeah, so I'm reaching out, to VP of Ops, people that think strategically about call centers. And what has worked is, if we talk about companies having, large call center volumes and us helping them to resolve many of these repetitive requests, I would say email is not working that well as a channel for us because I think it's also getting more and more crowded.
Yeah, for sure. Depends on who you deal with, right? Like I do GTM for YC companies, ycgtm.com, and it works really well. I think the infrastructure in email and getting in the actual mailbox is the real challenge nowadays, probably 90% of the equation. And then once you send a very thoughtful AI written email to the right person, I think you get a nice response rate. But yeah, in your case, maybe like calls would be relevant, right? It's like you're calling product. Maybe if you do outbound, but outbound's a bit it's a gray zone, right? Like on the legal level, you cannot really do outbound,
Yeah,
especially
we,
in
we, we
Europe.
do it to outbound, but funnily enough, we do it with humans because so our sweet spot is contacting people with AI, if they have given previous consent. And so obviously, if I'm reaching out cold to VP of Ops, he probably has not given me consent. So I'm actually, funnily enough, using humans to do the cold calling outreach.
Yeah, and I don't think an AI would be like VP of Ops level on the outbound. I think they're a bit
Exactly.
clunky, and
Yeah.
still a great SDR, probably from the Bay Area, would be better to execute these calls. And yeah, like these VP of Ops, where do you actually get them? Is it like, oh, you're gonna save that amount, you're gonna increase that amount in customer satisfaction? And what does a pilot look like? Like, how can you get them to commit a little bit but not too much if in case it fails, right?
Yeah. So pilot, we sometimes we do it for free, and sometimes the customer commits something upfront, also as part of like an implementation phase, especially if they want to connect the voice AI to some of their internal systems. So we try to just find an arrangement that works for time being. We try to have a clear exit point for the pilot, and then evaluate the results, and hopefully continue from there if the pilot is successful.
Right. So this year, what are your top goals? Is it to raise capital? Is it GTM? Is it product? Like, what are your specific goals? What do you want to achieve this year?
Yeah, so I would say both. Like you always have to build product and you have to sell it. So on the product side, we actually scaled a lot of like our calling volume. We have more customers. So just to make the product more stable is something that we're working on every day. There are a lot of pains on increasing the volume from, let's say, 10,000 calls a day to 100,000 calls a day. So making the product more stable is important to us. The second thing is making the product more user friendly. So we're not like a self-serve product, but still the experience does not have to be bad, right? Even for some of our business customers to kind of use the platform. A lot of our customers actually, they create their first agent with our help, and then they use our tools, right? No-code tools to create more AI agents for more use cases, right? By themselves without us even knowing, right? So they might start with, let's say, automating customer support hotline, but then they might create an AI agent that calls customers, that has signed up on the website but haven't really converted to being a customer, right? They run different campaigns to call customers and remind them to do something, which is especially relevant in healthcare, where you remind people to conduct certain actions, right? Like take their medications, for example. So how we see our platform is kind of giving these companies the tools and non-technical people at these companies the tools to kind of create their own voice AI agents.
Right. And what does the team look like right now? Like you're on the raising side of things and GTM side of things. Your founder is the technical one. What does the team look like?
So we're currently 8 people. I would say 70% of the 8 people are on the technical side, and 30% are on the business side. So we try to keep a small team, also because software engineers here in the Bay Area are pretty expensive. But also I feel like we still have a lot of homework to do to set the foundation before we can even think about scaling further.
Right. And you were, or your startup was born in YC Winter 25. Seems you scaled very fast, like how
Mm-hmm.
have you seen that compared to your other peers? Like you're already with 9 employees. Most of them are still like at seed stage sort
Yeah.
of and low growth.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the others are low growth, but I mean, definitely the voice AI space is pretty hot right now. So I think it's just a general pull that we and others in the voice AI market feel from the market, whereas some other YC startups might work in verticals or in markets that don't even exist yet, right? And that have to be created.
And you said a lot of traffic came from inbound. Like, what does your SEO look like? How do you attract that inbound?
So a lot of it is like founder content marketing from myself. Funnily enough, we did like a podcast during YC Demo Day with TBPN. I'm sure if you've heard of that. And actually, a lead I spoke to yesterday came from that because they actually watched this podcast, right? So it's actually pretty serendipitous and amazing. I would say SEO is like something very important that we're starting to invest in now, but we haven't done so far.
Right, like TBPN is great. You probably won't get the same view here. Yeah, I believe the founder's even a YC founder, right? Like the Soylent guy, John Coogan, forgot his name. But yeah, it's a great podcast. I love what they're doing. That guy's pretty next level. You also met Paul Graham, I believe, a couple of
Yeah,
months ago. How was that meeting the startup god?
yeah, it was amazing, and he even agreed to invest in our startup. So yeah, we pulled up to Palo Alto to his house actually, and kind of were invited to speak to him. And I think the meeting lasted 45 minutes, and he took our idea and kind of put his own spin on it. And we were brainstorming a lot, and I really appreciate kind of the session and getting his thoughts on the space.
Right, because he also has the property, I believe, in the UK, right? So he's somewhat bullish
Yeah,
on Europe as well. Did
yeah.
that help unlocking some paycheck there?
Maybe. I don't think so. Actually, we were making fun of Europe in a bit because we said, hey, there's a lot of data compliance and regulation, which we take seriously in Europe, which we don't have to do for the US. And so sometimes the AI is more effective if it can use more data and it's not bound by data regulation, right? So this is one area where AI can actually be more effective in the US than in Europe because it's not bound by the same data regulations that even we as a company take very seriously in Europe.
And do you think that OpenAI could eventually launch in your category, or are they focused on building the infrastructure?
So I don't think so. I think they're building the infrastructure and we're using some of their models, but we're creating a lot of like the tools and the platforms for enterprises to make AI accessible. And so that is not something that OpenAI is probably interested in the next 2, 3, or 5 years.
Because they have Operator, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't be surprised if you would have like your personal assistant answering every phone call, maybe doing a couple of outbounds eventually. So sort of never know with OpenAI. When they launched ChatGPT, they like slashed a couple of billions, if not trillions, in value from other players. Like, for example, I don't even read books nowadays. I just go very deep with ChatGPT, and that's my books. They replaced a whole bunch of other softwares, right? So you never really know. What are your AI predictions, especially on the agentic side of things this year? Do you believe OpenAI will improve Operator and the market will be shaken by that Q3,
Yeah.
Q4?
So I would actually disagree a little bit with the premise. So if we think of in terms of stack, right? OpenAI provides kind of the LLM, but they're not going to be the one talking to the enterprises, right? To build like a voice AI deployment because there's so much tooling involved. There's so much like back and forth project management even that OpenAI probably can and does not want to do. And so this is where someone like us comes in, right? We're using improvements in the LLMs to kind of make our models and our product better. But then we are the ones talking to these enterprises, like jumping on weekly calls with them, like listening on the ground to whatever they want to do and like helping them implement it. And so this is not something that like OpenAI is doing. So in terms of like improvements on the LLM side, I'm actually like a little bit bearish because I watched like when ChatGPT got released, and now it's almost 2.5 years later, and obviously models have gotten a lot better, but they have gotten better in a slower pace than I expected, to be honest. And AI is still definitely needs to be controlled, does not do things perfectly. So I do not believe that actually like in the next 6 months we will suddenly reach AGI, but I think that it will come slower and more gradually. which is why it's important to just stay in the game, right, for as long as possible.
Right. And that would be a net positive for most people that are already building in AI. It could also sort of break things in the process, but I think founders like you have learned to move incredibly quick and adapt. But what about the rest of the market? There are people that won't adapt to technology. Let's think of these call center people. What would happen to them once an AI replaced them? Do you think they would actually evolve or go get another low level job, or would they actually step their game up, be more entrepreneurial, and adapt to this AI revolution?
Ideally, they partner with us, right? So we already work with several BPOs, which are called business process outsourcing, or like outsource call centers that employ humans that do calls for other companies. And some of them are, already feeling pressure from their clients to kind of show what is their AI strategy. And they partner with vendors like us, right, to kind of give a holistic solution to their clients, especially because AI is not good enough yet to handle 100% of all the calls. And so you actually, need AI working together with humans to deliver a 100% solution to the problem.
Right. It's like the scale AI model in which humans train AI models, but the question is like for how long, right? Will we need humans? Are they competent enough to keep up with an AI, like at a low level call center type of scenario?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think they are. I don't think they'll
Wait,
train
could
AIs for long.
you
I think AIs will train
repeat the
humans.
question? Could you repeat the
Yeah,
question?
Scale AI, Alex
Yeah.
Wang hires a bunch of humans to train AIs, somewhat smart humans, most of them like out of college or uni, for specific prompts and reviewing the work of AI. My question is more a low level human that is replaced by an AI in a call center. What's their future? You answered to that they would sort of help train an AI, but is that really true? Do they really have like that intellectual power to train an AI and to learn? I'm just uncertain of their future. You can picture like these call centers in Philippines, for example, which I've been to, and I ran a call center with 200 employees about 5 years ago or 7 years ago. And yeah, I cannot see these employees even training an AI. Like I don't think they have the skill set short term. And we know that AI is growing exponentially. I'm just very uncertain about these people's future. Do you think they'll adapt, or do you
So
think they'll sneak?
I disagree with this. So first of all, we want to provide the tooling on our platform to make it easy for these companies to use it, right? So right now we have the voice AI agents. We're going to release an eval feature where you don't actually have humans looking at AI calls, but you have AI looking at and evaluating all the AI calls. The next step is going to be the optimization module, where you have an AI that learns from the AI graded AI calls, right? And you actually improve the first AI. So basically, it's like a human call center worker where they do the calls, and then there's like a call center QA person, and there's like a call center supervisor who use the insights from the QA person to modify the script to train people. And so we want to provide this on our platform as well. Our goal is to make it really easy for these companies and these employees to actually tell AI what to do. So we have a term called voice AI manager, where we designate people at our clients that know how to use our tools as like voice AI managers. And some of them were former call center employees, right? So it's much more fun to tell an AI what to do using our tools than to like actually do the work yourself.
Right. For a business owner, you still need to pay for that person. My point is, I don't think these people will be around. I think an AI can train an AI better than a human can. It's only probably 1 to 10% of these call center managers that are smart enough to do that job. But yeah, like may they adapt? May they be more
Yeah,
entrepreneurial? Also,
I think again, it's not going to be an abrupt process, because even though there's a lot of hype being on the ground, I know that AI is not good enough yet to completely replace humans or something like that. So everything is going to be a process. And the question is, do you, as like a call center owner, start the process, learn about AI, start to use it, are open to experimentation, right? And have the right goal setting and see AI in the correct way.
right. No, it won't be gradual. Nothing is right. Like there's regulations, there's ethics, there's companies not wanting to have their reputation destroyed by destroying entire industries, right? Including you right now,
Mhm.
which is why you're answering that way. And most people that you reach out to, these VP ops, for example, they don't want someone that comes in and says, "Hey, I'm going to replace your people," because they're not going to be down with that. So it's going to be a gradual process. I think it's a better experience, like you said, for employees, for end customers, and also for scale, for the call centers to take that much calls and resolve problem easily and quickly. So I very much like that. Bullish on your company. Kev, where can people find out more about you?
Yes, definitely. Visit us at https www.leapingai.com. LEAPINGAI.com.
So that was Kevin.